It is Monday, April 16th, 2018. This is the Wrestling Inc. podcast. Superstar Shakeup, Part 1 tonight, Monday Night Raw. I'm Glenn Rubenstein. With me, as always, Mr. Raj Giri. Mr. Matt Morgan cannot, unfortunately, make it this evening. And we're going to talk everything that happened tonight, man. Interesting episode of Raw. More about the news coming out of it than the matches themselves, although some things did happen. Opened the show with a title change. Raj, overall, how are you feeling about this, man? This is a much bigger shift than it was last year.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a whole bunch of new people, including in the upper card, in that mix up there with like Lashley, Bobby Roode. They gave him a good push tonight. And Drew McIntyre, it seems like they got big plans for him. So there's a lot of ways they can go. I mean, it's clear like the very top of the card didn't get shifted that much. It's probably not going to on SmackDown either. It's still Roman, Samoa Joe, Braun Strowman's in there. But, the step below that, there's a lot of guys that are in that mix now. So there's a lot of ways it can go. It was an entertaining episode for sure, I thought. Yeah, man. I'm curious to see who moves over to SmackDown tomorrow night. In some ways, I feel like SmackDown got rid of a lot of dead weight with some of these moves. Let's see who they inherit from Raw to compensate. But yeah, man, Raw, I mean, this was a huge reset button tonight. Yeah, I mean, you got to figure there's a lot of people that probably aren't going to be doing that aren't going to be upgraded too much from where they were on SmackDown. Mojo Rawley got moved. Zack Ryder, those weren't on TV, but those were announced later. So, a lot of guys moved over. Yeah, so before we hop into that, I know we've got some other news stories we'll talk about later, John Cena and Nikki Bella. But one thing I just even noticed on Wrestling Inc. on our show notes as it stands, I'm not sure what's going on with this. Is it true? So Rusev was set to face The Undertaker in a casket match at the Greatest Royal Rumble. And then like 24 hours later, they were like, oh, no, it's going to be Chris Jericho. And then tonight, this afternoon, they're saying, oh, no, it's going to be Rusev again. Yeah, it's Rusev again. So it's Rusev. And they aired the promo during Raw tonight. I don't know if you saw that. But yeah, so here's a quick timeline. Is it last Tuesday they announced Rusev versus The Undertaker? I believe last Tuesday or Wednesday. Oh, did I lose Raj? Am I live, folks? Bear with us here. Oh, there we go. He's coming back. So last Tuesday, I believe it was, they announced, no, it wouldn't have been last Tuesday. I believe it was last Wednesday. They announced Rusev versus The Undertaker. And 24 hours later, we got correction. Actually, maybe on last Tuesday night, Raj, because Saudi Arabia time. Yeah. It was late at night. I can't remember. Was it? It was Tuesday because I emailed you. Like, I was like, Raj, if you're still up, this just right. Yeah. So that happened. And Rusev sent out a tweet. He said, bury me softly, brother. Yeah. And then the next morning, him and Lana did an interview with TMZ. TMZ had this very exaggerated headline where it says, Rusev and Lana, we're going to bury the Undertaker's old ass, which they never said. The worst thing he said in that interview was that Undertaker might be a little bit past his prime, but he was also, it was all kind of tongue in cheek. Later that day, what's that? You cut a great promo when you're getting out of your vet, got to do some shopping and you're just hit with the camera in your face, Right, yeah. Well, I'm sure they planned it out with TMZ to catch him. Oh, maybe. But yeah, so then hours later, they had Lana send out this tweet saying she doesn't want Rusev competing in a casket match, and boom, it's changed to Jericho versus Undertaker. And Jericho, confirmed that it was a last-minute thing. He was supposed to be in this 50-man Royal Rumble. And then today, without any reason why, they changed it back to Rusev versus Undertaker in a casket match. And I'm guessing Jericho is still in the Royal Rumble. They didn't say he wasn't, so... yeah, really weird. Strange. I tweeted my theory. Actually, I got a reply from Michelle McCool because I said that she just gave The Undertaker a hard time that he never makes up songs about her. And that's why he wanted out of the match. What did she say? She said she loves that style of humor. Well done. And I was like, I was hoping like for a little beef in there, right? Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think it was maybe the TMZ thing. Another great theory I saw online is that Saudi Arabia is trying to do a lot of business with Bulgaria right now. And some people said, it might be seen as highly disrespectful in their culture to toss Rusev in a casket. That could sour relations. There were so many theories about this. I would love to know the behind the scenes story.
Oh, I don't think that's it. They could have just dropped the casket aspect of it.
That's true.
And the fact that they re-added it, shows that wasn't.
Who knows what's going on?
I think he probably got some heat. They were like annoyed that he probably sent out that tweet, seeming ungrateful that he's in this match with Taker. I think it was probably that tweet that got him in a little trouble. They changed it. They talked with Rusev over the weekend, and now everything's cool. And, Lana's sent out another tweet today with the match being back on. It was very different. It wasn't a smart ass tweet. It was, we're going to bury him.
And Rusev over the weekend did what has now become the go-to in a situation like this. He removed all mentions of WWE from his Twitter profile.
Yeah.
It seemed like, oh no, the rumors is Rusev leaving the company.
Right. Yeah. I doubt they would release Rusev. I mean, they haven't released Neville, right? Even if things got bad, they just have him write out his contract.
Yeah.
And there's no reason to release him, especially when he's kind of hot right now.
Yeah. So that was probably the biggest story over the weekend going into the Superstar shakeup. Now, Rusev did not switch brands tonight. So we're assuming now maybe tomorrow night we'll get news of another SmackDown star moving. But for the time being, it looks like everyone that did not show up on Raw tonight is safe. Yeah, man, so much stuff tonight.
Yeah. And actually the big story this weekend, that John Cena and Nikki Bella, their relationship ending, that was run. I mean, everywhere had stories on it,
Well, because they issued a statement. They purposefully released that last night so it would not overshadow tonight and tomorrow.
Well, I don't think that was it.
I think so.
No, I think in general you like to dump news like that on a weekend. Like even big political stories are usually dropped on a Friday evening. So I think it was one of those things that was coming up and it happened and that was it.
And if John wanted his deposit back on that May 5th wedding, he had to cancel immediately.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. In Mexico.
Yeah. I didn't know it was coming up that soon, but that is kind of crazy. This whole thing is weird. I'd love to get Matt's take on this because he said in the past, based on his inside knowledge, Cena's never getting married again. But what's so strange about it is they're like, oh, we ask that people respect our privacy. Of course, Twitter lit up with jokes and people saying all sorts of things. But that's because this was a big part of WrestleMania last year. It was a big TV storyline. Total Bellas, SmackDown Live. What's real and what's kayfabe at this point? They've
been doing this on Total Diva since the show started, about him not wanting to get married. And then they did the angle last year. So, I mean, it sucks when, when your relationship is so, public. Yeah. And you want the good side out. But when something bad does happen, you got to deal with that then because you put it out there. And you made it a big WrestleMania angle. So, yeah, I know there's some people speculating that it, it seems like it could be a storyline for Total Divas or Total Bellas, but normally
3 weeks away.
Yeah, and normally they don't reveal storyline stuff from the show, ahead of time. Like it would be done on the show, and then they'd get back to where they were. So I don't think that's it.
I was checking though the Miz's Twitter all day today because I was like, if he references this, then it's fair game.
That would be a prickish move to do.
Well, I mean,
if it was a legit breakup,
Yeah. No, I feel you. Yeah. So all that going into tonight with Monday Night Raw Superstar Shakeup Part 1, opening up with the big news: Jinder Mahal coming to Monday Night Raw, bringing the U.S. title with him, and getting immediately put into a match with Jeff Hardy, where Jeff Hardy hit a perfect Swanton bomb right into the pin to become a United States champion. And I believe he set some sort of record, right? He's held now, all the traditional Grand Slam titles, but in addition to the hardcore title, the European title.
Yeah. Yeah. He's pretty much held everything except, the women's belts. So
hey, the year's still young.
Right. Yeah. So he's the Grand Slam champion now. This was a fun opening segment. I never like when they draft someone over and they have them lose right away. I think just kind of feel like you want to give them a little momentum, even if you don't have big plans for them, like Breezango. Give them the win on their first night in, give them a little momentum, and then see what happens. But in this case, it probably worked out for the best. And my guess is Jinder is probably going to win it back at in Saudi Arabia. And I don't know what they do with because they announced Randy Orton. So unless they draft Jeff Hardy to SmackDown, which I could see them doing that, and then Jeff Hardy retains over Jinder and then defends against Randy Orton at Backlash. So yeah, it was kind of surprising, but it was a fun opener. It's probably the funnest segment that Jinder's been involved with in a long time.
It was a pretty good match too.
Yeah, that was probably one of Jinder's best matches.
No, I agree. I think Jeff could show up on SmackDown tomorrow night, or we could see
talking about
Seth
this
Rollins
for months. Yeah, we could see Seth Rollins for sure.
I see Jeff Hardy more than I see Seth Rollins
moving to SmackDown.
Yeah, I mean that would be a big move. Now, if they do that, great for SmackDown. I mean, man, they opened up space tonight. It looked like more than 50% of their roster. Yeah,
I mean, you got to get some difference makers up there because you got The Miz is gone, Bobby Roode is gone. Those are guys that were up there. Jinder has been pushed hard for the last year, so you got big enough names that you gotta do some worthwhile moves. So I could see for sure either Seth or Jeff, of course.
Yeah, and they did announce that The Miz is going over to SmackDown tonight without the Miztourage. We'll get into that. But before that, we had a backstage segment. Yes, Jinder saying he's going to get his rematch at the Greatest Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia, and had a little meaningful exchange with No Way Jose.
Yeah. I'm already done with No Way Jose.
They hired that conga line tonight just for that backstage segment. Did he even have a match on main event?
Let me see. Let's see. What do we have on main event tonight? We had Carl Anderson beating Kurt Hawkins and Lince Dorado and Grand Metalik defeating TJP and Arya Daivari. So no.
Wow. That conga line really earned their money.
Yeah.
So yeah, look forward to that feud starting up. Bayley versus Sasha Banks tonight. The problem every time they do this is people have these high expectations. Oh my God, something's going to happen.
And real quick, I forgot Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are on. So that's even more, a lot more people from the top. Baron Corbin was kind of in that area too. So yeah. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, Bayley and Sasha, man. I think, are we just getting worked with this? Are we building it up too much in our heads? Everybody's saying every time this match is scheduled, this is going to be the one. Someone's going to turn. It's going to either take it to a new level or resolve it all together. And instead we had the Riot Squad break it up at the end.
Yeah. I mean, to me, if you're going to do it, you don't do it on just an episode of Raw. You've been building this feud for months. You'd want to do it on pay-per-view, right? So
you would
hopefully it leads to a match at Backlash. That's what I would guess.
If they get the time, if they're moving to SmackDown, which, I mean, I don't know, maybe, possibly.
I don't know. I mean, you had the Riot Squad and you had Natalya, right? And that was it, right?
On the women, yeah. So that's 4.
Yeah, it wasn't like didn't really have like a top name, and I feel like Sasha and Bayley are top names. It kind of shifts the scales a bit.
Could be Sasha, Bayley, and what's left of Absolution. Could go over to SmackDown.
Yeah, I would actually guess Absolution and one other person. Maybe, I don't know, Mickie James or Alexa Bliss.
I think Alexa, especially with what they did tonight with her not being there. Although maybe there's another match, the way she's doing with Nia, the bully angle, that did feel like they're dangling something there.
Yeah. I can see them doing one more for sure. Because it's definitely won't be Saudi Arabia. So, so it'd be Backlash.
Yeah. Oh, did you see the branded pay-per-view music video that dropped today?
Oh my gosh, yeah, they were really making a big deal out of that thing.
This turned into animated GIFs immediately.
Yeah.
I stopped what I was doing a half an hour before Raw, and I was like, I'm just going to pull some stuff out of this. This is too good. I mean, it's stupid as hell that they did this.
Yeah, I mean, it looked professional, I guess.
But not a single one of them is actually singing or rapping on the track. They just got them in the studio to lip sync. They got them to do this dance thing. And it's like this weird, if you haven't watched this yet, folks, it's called The Best of Both Worlds. It's like a weird We Are the World, Voices That Care, Do They Know It's Christmas? Except it's not for charity and no one is actually performing on it.
It's to promote that
dual branded pay-per-views. The Best of Both Worlds.
Which is how it was 2 years ago.
Yeah. It's very strange.
It was cheesy as hell.
Oh my God. I mean, I
at least make it goofy. Make it, you
didn't think it was goofy? Look at the animated GIF I posted of
over the top enough.
Mojo Rawley doing the air humping and Nia Jax doing voguing at the end.
Yeah, but it wasn't over the top enough that it made it seem like they were spoofing themselves.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It was dumb, but I absolutely loved it. I think that's the best way that I can describe it.
I hope I never see that again.
Oh, you're gonna come on all the way up until Backlash, man. I'm just waiting for a site to do a breakdown, like frame by frame, GIF by GIF, sequence by sequence. So there's a lot in there, including Dolph Ziggler with like the worst hair.
That was
something. So in that, you could kind of tell though. What did you think could be gleaned from that about who they featured? I mean, obviously they weren't going to get Roman or Seth. There was no top guys in there. But at the same time, like, I don't know, Mojo, Dolph, I mean, these people they thought would just be good, ham it up for the camera, or people they actually care about?
Oh, no. I think it was just, I don't think they gave that much thought into it.
Whatever we could get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had, they had Roman was in there.
Was he in that video? I didn't see it.
They showed like a clip of him in the background, like in the studio or something.
Oh, it's through the album. They had Braun, they had like the footage of Braun with the cello.
Did they? All right.
Behind Nia on the green screens.
We've talked about this for
we've talked about this way too long. Just watch the video, folks, and draw your own conclusions. So yeah, the Riot Squad coming over. Man, they got it. It all depends on how many.
A lot of these are just a move. Like I don't think there's any real plans, any rhyme or reason.
Yeah, but they got 3 hours on Raw.
Right. But it's not meant to be more than what it is. You know what I mean? Like some people you could tell, like Drew, they're going to do something with. I think Dolph, they're going to, give him a little push now that he's aligned with Drew. And I think that's great. I think he's been needing to be aligned with someone for a long time.
Hey man, 3MB now, all on the same brand.
They are. And for now, we'll see tomorrow. Heath Slater moved back.
Yeah, people Raj is like, please let them move Heath Slater, or else they're going to do 3MB again.
You see how Drew looks now. There's no way Vince is going to put him back in 3MB or anything close.
It's the same company that put out that music video today, Raj.
Yeah, but he's massive. Vince sees him and sees a main eventer.
Yeah. So speaking of Rhino and Heath Slater, they got their rematch against the Authors of Pain. Why in the hell was this so competitive?
Man, we've talked about this a lot, where they do all this stuff to please the post WrestleMania audience, and then like a week or two later, they're already not getting reactions, and Authors of Pain didn't really get much of a reaction from this crowd. I feel like if you had like a build-up, if you did video packages and stuff like that to get people ready, it would be way more effective than just getting that one pop.
Did you see Paul Ellering's tweet that was basically paraphrasing, said, just for the record, I have no problem with traveling. Just making it clear that it was not his choice.
Yeah.
To detach from the Authors of Pain.
Yeah. How much do you think he really added to him? I mean, there's a legacy there for sure, but
it was kind of neat. They just had this creepy old mastermind. Actually, he's not as old as you think he is, but still, they have like his sort of menacing. I mean, all his
60s,
was like,
right? He's got to be in his 60s.
Early, I think he was born in 50. So yeah, he looks older. Let's just leave it at that. It's a nice way of saying it. But no, I thought it kind of added a little something to their mystique, especially because I don't know. I mean, you heard him talking in the ring tonight. I thought that was interesting. They kept having to point out, like, they're from Albania.
Yeah, I think they should have someone. I don't know. Paul Ellering. I don't know. Yeah.
We'll see. This might be one that has a short lifespan.
Someone is saying he's 102 years old. Did you know that? Ellering.
If you told, okay, let me put it this way. If you told me he was 80, I wouldn't disbelieve you. He's 64. But he's got that look. You could tell me he's 60 or you could tell me he's 80, and I'll believe anything you tell me in between those two numbers.
He looks pretty good for 64.
Yeah, it's not like William Regal. Like, how old do you think William Regal is?
50, mid-50s.
William Regal is 49 years old.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's one of those where it's like, oh, man.
Yeah.
This is a hard life. Hard living in those UK wrestling promotions.
Yeah, I guess so.
Man. Okay, so Authors of Pain won. It was this should have been a squash. There's no reason this needed to go on as long. And beforehand, we got the Slater and Rhino promo with the text on screen talking about how they're ready this time.
Yeah. That's back.
Yeah. It'll never leave us. So Miz TV, I thought this was a fantastic segment with the Miz bringing out Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. I love the group hug with the Miztourage and them and the ring jumping up and down. Miz doing the whole thing. It's like the Avengers going on and on. Kurt Angle comes out, tries to rain on their parade, saying they're not hired. And then they pull out, Sami Zayn puts on his reading glasses and reads an email that he printed out from Stephanie McMahon saying that they're hired. And then Kurt Angle retaliates almost immediately with saying that Daniel Bryan wants him on SmackDown.
Yeah. And so, yeah, that's what we've been talking about that for a while too, about the Miz going back to SmackDown and finishing his feud with Daniel Bryan. So
that should be forget anything else. In my mind, that should be the hottest feud on SmackDown between now and SummerSlam.
Yeah. I agree.
I did think they wasted, though, a chance to have him break up with the Miztourage. Even in that last match, I think they should have done it at Mania. There should have been that Miz down moment of them turning on him if they were going to break them up.
What if they moved the Miztourage anyway? I mean, what are they going to be doing on Raw? I mean,
that's true.
You know, it's not like there's big plans for him. We've seen what they were without the Miz. I can't see. I see main event matches for him if they don't get moved.
Yeah, well, I don't know, man. Main event's looking like a pretty crowded show with some of the names
I guess so.
they made tonight, including some they did not make on the air. So on social media, they announced Mike Kanellis and Zack Ryder moving over from SmackDown. On their YouTube channel, they announced Mojo Rawley is moving over from SmackDown. And on Instagram, the WWE announced that the Ascension, Connor and Victor, are moving over from SmackDown.
So they moved pretty much everyone that doesn't have a real role.
I mean, some that do.
Yeah, for sure. But Mike Kanellis, all these guys who haven't been used on TV in forever. The Ascension are rarely used. So yeah, I mean that's a lot of people they moved. When we're done with this, let's see who we think will move from Raw to SmackDown. But that is yeah. So they pretty much moved almost everyone that
that isn't New Day, the Usos, Randy Orton, Shinsuke, or AJ.
Yeah, exactly.
Give or take a few other names. Yeah, man. So that set up the 10-man tag for later in the night. And they kept teasing there was going to be a big surprise there. After that, we got Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy against the Revival, determining who's going to face the Bar in Saudi Arabia for the Raw tag team titles. This was, I guess, the semifinal of the tag team eliminator because Vince does not like the word tournament.
I don't think that's what it is.
I know. It's just funny. Do you think of something like that?
I think it was just there just weren't enough people to call it a tournament.
Did Meltzer, was Meltzer the one that dropped that?
Well, he was just speculating.
Yeah.
I think it was one of those cases where people are taking speculation as.
But there's weird stuff about Vince McMahon. If you tell me, I mean, the fact I've never seen confirmed that he dislikes people, that he dislikes sneezing, but I absolutely believe that is true.
No, baby. Yeah, people have talked about it. Paul Heyman has told stories about that, where you don't sneeze in front of Vince. Yeah, it's a real thing. I mean, I would not be surprised if he doesn't like the word tournament. I just felt like because there were so few teams using the word tournament, I usually you think of more people. And didn't they just have a tournament and they called it a tournament? That US Championship one.
Yeah.
So.
No, that's right. So yeah, the Revival versus Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt. What'd you think of this match?
Yeah.
Matt and Bray, though, kind of gelling as a team.
They're doing stuff.
I mean, the shtick.
I like Bray doing something different. So,
yeah.
The crowd wasn't that into him, though. I mean, what'd you think?
They've got fans.
Yeah.
I think they need to just ramp up the insanity with the two of them. Like, just really just go over the top at this point. I think their look is good. I like the white and black thing, the yin and yang. I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah. I don't know. The more I see him, the more I'm like, I'm over this. But at the same time, I do like that Bray is not doing the same thing he's been doing for the last 4 years.
Well, and how much truth do you put in the word on the street that Vince, even though he was dismissive of the Ultimate Deletion, that he's impressed by the response it got? So we're probably going to see more of this.
I I'd be surprised.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one thing to look at social media and be impressed by that, but it's clear he was kind of embarrassed, by
at the time having Michael Cole like give a disclaimer.
Yeah. Doing the disclaimer, cutting it out of the Hulu version.
Yeah.
But then they uploaded the full match on YouTube. So maybe the feedback caused them to turn around because fans loved it.
People are much higher on that match than you, I, and Matt were.
Yeah.
That's
for sure.
one where people really disagreed with us.
Yeah. And for me, a lot of it was just, I just thought their ones in Impact raised the bar. I thought their ones in Impact just had a lot more humor and comedy. But it's not that style I didn't like. So, yeah.
Yeah, it just felt a little derivative. And how often do you see the WWE doing something derivative of Impact?
Right, yeah.
I don't know if they're looking for something, that Feast or Fired, that's a pretty good concept. Just saying.
Yeah.
I actually had to go back and watch that when I was seeing the promos. Like, I was actually really impressed with how they did EC3's exit from Impact.
Oh, yeah? I haven't seen that yet.
The promos were really good, and the stuff they did building up to that. I'm still not a regular Impact watcher, but that was one of the better things that made me think, if I could just find a little more time in the week for wrestling.
Yeah, they're on a bit of a roll right now.
Yeah, their viewers, what's it, over 300,000 each?
It was close to 4.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
It's kind of been their ceiling, so. I think they topped 400 once, and I think that was the total deletion, so.
Yeah.
Getting close.
So we saw Ronda Rousey backstage with Kurt Angle talking about WrestleMania still, her win over Stephanie McMahon. Both their win against Stephanie McMahon and Triple H. And then Natalya came in. Ronda revealed that they've trained together.
Yeah.
And Natalya was going to have a match later that night against Mandy Rose.
I wonder if that's the next thing for her, is a tag match with Natalya against maybe not Absolution, but 2 other people.
With Sonya Deville, that's the one thing that makes me think maybe they're not going to move Sonya. Maybe they'll break. I mean, look, there's no point to Absolution anymore without Paige. Them coming out to Paige's music makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, they got to change that.
But yeah, I think with Sonya, that more MMA style fighting, if Ronda's not ready to carry a full wrestling match, I think they could do something in that realm. Maybe a tag, as you said. Yeah,
I just think there's too much inexperience in there right now.
Yeah,
like it would be better for them to do, Mickey and Alexa, some women that have a lot of experience, because Ronda's she's brand new. She's brand new to this. She's not gonna call the spots and set up the match. So
yeah, Natalya's being a great person to have her keep working with.
Yeah,
something in that program. Mickie James versus Ember Moon. We had Nia Jax on commentary, who, correct me if I'm wrong, but she hardly said anything.
Yeah, no, it was just I would forget that she was on there until she'd say a couple words here and there, and I was like, oh yeah, Nia Jax is there.
She's the champion.
That Alexa thing was weird. Yeah. I thought she was going to come out later and sneak attack her.
Yeah, Alexa calling Nia the bully.
Yeah.
Again, this was a good match, but why was this so competitive? I mean, I don't think it's doing Ember, Authors of Pain. Nobody knew. It's not doing them a favor, especially Ember, who's coming in former NXT Women's Champ, and she's wrestling a fairly competitive match against Mickie James.
If they're being brought in like a main event, high profile position, I could see going ahead and doing squashes, but they need to, get accustomed to these kind of matches. And it's not, Ember Moon's not going to be in the main event picture yet. So I thought that was good. And Mickie James, if there's anyone you're going to do longer matches with, she's a good one to have, that, her and Natalya. So that made sense to me.
Maybe Mickie and Alexa, maybe they move tomorrow.
I could see that.
Isn't that weird though? Because then we have the original SmackDown 6 plus Mickie, who was like the 7th woman on SmackDown.
Yeah, I could see Asuka going. It feels like they don't have any plans for her right now, so I can see that.
Yeah, we just wouldn't have Natalya. That would be interesting to take it back. But you know what? SmackDown, the women's division back then was really good and could carry multiple matches a week. That's been part of the problem, is that they're not going to put Tamina or Lana out there in a singles match.
Yeah.
So we got more of the build-up backstage. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens talking with The Miz. Weird that Braun Strowman was teaming with the Faces tonight, but I guess it's just sort of the reality for how the fans perceive him.
Yeah, oh yeah, he's been a babyface for a while now. So
yeah,
now he's doing all the babyface things.
Yep.
You know, teaming with Roman Reigns at house shows. That's the main event for a lot of shows coming up. Him and the two of them and Seth Rollins.
That's just wrong, because the Roman Braun feud is the best feud.
It is so memorable. They did. You had ambulances flipping over and guys flying off of stretchers off the stage. I mean, there was a lot put into it to just kind of forget about it.
Yeah.
But who knows? Who knows if they'll do anything on TV with it? But at live events and Raw tapings and stuff, that's the main event.
So we got Titus Worldwide, Apollo, Titus, and Dana Brooke coming out to interrupt Dolph Ziggler. And then Drew McIntyre attacks him from behind. So Drew and Ziggler are on Raw.
Drew looking jacked as hell.
Yeah.
Huge, like tall. I mean, he's everything that Vince wants, except more. He's bulkier than the last time he was with WWE. So I expect big things. I mean, I've been saying this since he showed up on NXT. He's not long for NXT with how he looks. Once Vince sees him, he's going to be on that main roster. And as soon as he got ready after that injury, he's there. And I think that the pairing with him and Ziggler, it'll do Ziggler some good too, because he's been stale for so long.
Yeah. Roman Reigns came out noting that he's there and Brock Lesnar isn't. He was wearing a necklace. I think everyone online that was the big development on Twitter. Oh, he's out there wearing a necklace. What does that signify?
Yeah.
Interrupted by Samoa Joe, who brought a highlight reel of Brock Lesnar kicking Roman Reigns' ass.
It just doesn't seem to fit his character that he would care about getting a video put together of, Brock attacking Reigns. But
I don't know. Samoa Joe's a deep guy, man. I could see him. He open up Windows Movie Maker, cut it all himself.
Maybe.
He's written comic books. He's a big video game guy. I mean, why not?
He missed weekend live events to put together this video.
Who did that time? Who was it? Seth Rollins? Didn't someone come out there? It was like a year or two ago. I think it was against Roman, where they cut. It was like one of those Daily Show-esque. They cut together the videos with different answers and questions. I can't remember. Maybe it was Rollins, but they were like, "I did this myself. I put this together."
Yeah.
But yeah, look, Samoa Joe, the crowd loved tonight.
He was awesome. His promo was great. He's so good on that mic. It's just, if he's a heel, I think he needs to do more heelish things, because he's come across as a badass babyface for the most part, except when he wouldn't go in the ring at the end.
Yeah. And notable tonight, Roman called Samoa Joe, what do you say, something lazy fat ass. They don't normally do that. I mean, with Kevin Owens, I think there's been one crack about his size.
They've done a few in the past.
Yeah, but like in recent times,
they
normally don't go there. And people online were saying that whether it's Nia or Samoa Joe, this body shaming angle, it's kind of weird for the WWE to go in this direction, especially from Roman. He's supposed to be the top face of the company.
Yeah, I think they look at body shaming guys differently than girls. You know what I mean?
Well, it's cool for Roman to call Brock Lesnar a bitch.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is a little different.
Yeah.
Kind of. I don't know.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say, it's a little cool. I was like,
no.
That hasn't been cool since 1993.
You know.
Yeah. But yeah, I think, hey, man, with Roman, if he doesn't win in Saudi, oh my God, could you imagine if he doesn't win in Saudi Arabia? Please, God, let him win in Saudi Arabia.
That's got to be it.
Just get this over with. This has gone on way too long.
Yeah. So Lesnar's only in looks like his contract is up and it's short term. So it's not past SummerSlam is what was in the Observer last week. So it looks like lose the title, maybe do one rematch. But he's not putting himself in this USADA drug testing pool.
Yeah.
And man, if you want to fight again, the sooner you do that, it's 6 months from when you put yourself in. So, that he has to serve the remainder of his suspension. So, you got to wonder, does he have any real intent on going back to UFC?
Yeah. I mean, at this point, who knows? But again, so much goes around about all of this with Brock. And I mean, this whole thing that the altercation between him and Vince backstage at WrestleMania was a work.
Yeah.
That seems strange that they're now doing things for show
Well, they don't know if it was or not. That's people speculating that it was work. I could see him being, what I said. I could see him just being annoyed with the crowd reaction, pissed backstage, threw the belt, and that was it.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, Brock, I know he has a reputation for, as long as you pay me, whatever, but he can't be happy with how this whole thing has gone.
I mean, I don't think he'd be happy with how that crowd reaction was. I mean, that affected the match, right? Like, they never gave it a chance. And I'm sure Brock would feel that storyline made it impossible for fans to cheer him, but they weren't going to cheer Roman either. So it just killed the whole match. And if you listen to all the interviews that Heyman was doing, he was talking about how much Brock was focusing on that match. And, he was really trying to put a lot into it. And they tried. Just the fans just would not give it a chance. I mean, they crapped all over it, before they even really got started.
Yeah. So breaking news on Twitter as we record this podcast, Chad Gable is going to Monday Night Raw. Shelton Benjamin and him are breaking up.
Oh, all right.
Didn't even make social media during the show.
Okay. I don't know about that one.
Yeah, I just went on Twitter to verify that it's happening.
No, I don't mean that it didn't happen. I mean that
yeah.
Chad Gable, I don't know. I think he's great, but his size would hurt him more on Raw than it would, does on SmackDown. I'd almost move Shelton instead.
Yeah.
You just got so many big guys on Raw, with Lashley and Strowman and Roman and now with Drew McIntyre and wherever Big Cass ends up.
Yeah. Oh man, tomorrow,
Brock.
maybe tomorrow, Big Cass comes back on SmackDown.
Yeah, or Colin Cassidy.
Yes, as he is known now.
Well, not yet. His profile page still says.
Oh, interesting.
Yes, yeah.
Andrew Claterman in the chat saying they should have him revealed as Kurt's real son.
Who?
Chad Gable.
Yes. I could see Jason Jordan on SmackDown.
Yeah, maybe. Man. So much happening here.
Actually, that kind of kills that storyline then with Kurt.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Mandy Rose versus Natalya. Natalya pretty much working this match as a face.
Yeah, I think she's a face now.
Yeah. Getting attacked after Ronda Rousey coming out to save her from Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. Ronda taking down Sonya. I thought that was really cool after. The only thing I didn't buy, Ronda doing her concerned face, which looks a lot like her angry face. Basically, she's got two modes, smiling and just her ring face.
Yeah.
But looking very concerned for Natalya afterwards.
Yeah.
And Natalya won the match with the sharpshooter, as it were. As we said earlier, I could easily see them putting them in a story, partnering together. And then we got a video package announcing Baron Corbin coming to Monday Night Raw. Word making the rounds. And again, man, you've talked about this before, but Meltzer, and I actually listened to the podcast, Meltzer said one thing, they're still high on Baron Corbin, and news story after news story, every site.
Well, not just that. He said that is who he is highest on. That's not in the main event scene. So it's a more of a, more of a passing of the, I don't know what the phrase is. But that's a big statement.
Yeah. But again, we don't know the conversation Meltzer had with somebody to come to that conclusion.
Right.
I don't know. So he got a video package tonight. I don't think anyone else did.
No, that was it. It was cool.
Yeah. Just needs to keep his mouth shut when they're talking concussions backstage. And
right. Yeah. Fine. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we got 18 people going from SmackDown to Raw with Chad Gable now.
It's insane.
We'll run through it, but you got to think you got the same number of people going to SmackDown then, right?
I could see slightly less because it's a shorter show.
Right. But you'd think it's at least 13 plus a couple, maybe another NXT, maybe Andrade Cien Almas or a big cast coming back.
Last year, it was like 4 or 5 people each direction, right?
I'd have to double check. It didn't seem like it was that many last year. They called it because they called it the shakeup because it wasn't a draft, so it wasn't as many people. So I think that's why they changed the name. But this year it's a ton.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like SmackDown has not suffered great losses necessarily.
Well, Owens and Zayn were SmackDown pretty much for.
And that was the problem, though. And, I talked about this before. I mean, if you look at SmackDown versus a year ago versus now, okay, one, the loss of Talking Smack, which I'll never shut up about. Two, that they dominated SmackDown with storylines. I mean, they just let it. The rise of Jinder Mahal dominated SmackDown. Terrible things like the way they introduced Shinsuke and put in that feud with Dolph as like the hot feud on SmackDown Live. Even Kevin and Sami. I mean, there were some episodes we talked about on the podcast here where they were doing 3 or 4 segments throughout the night focused on Kevin and Sami.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just too much, not enough variety.
Yeah, hold on one. Let me. So last year we had Apollo Crews, The Miz, Maurice, Dean Ambrose, Kurt Hawkins, Bray Wyatt, Kalisto, Heath Slater and Rhino, Alexa Bliss, Mickie James, David Otunga. Oh, so you had a bunch there too that went from
David Otunga
went to Raw from. Well, he was supposed to Raw to SmackDown. He was announced, but then that never ended up happening. So, and then on the SmackDown side. We had Kevin Owens, Jinder Mahal, Sami Zayn. I mean, there had to have been more.
Well, Alexa and Mickie that you mentioned.
No, Mickie went to Raw from SmackDown. And no, I'm saying from
from Raw to SmackDown. Sorry.
Yeah.
Charlotte, Kevin, Sami.
Right. Let me see. Anyway.
Yeah. Didn't feel quite as big.
Right.
So after that match,
the Shining Stars, right?
Hey man, that timeshare gimmick was solid. How did they ever give that up? Breezango versus the Bar. Fashion Police have come to Raw. I think they're going to do great on Raw with the Fashion Files because Raw has 3 hours to fill, and that is a perfect segment to put in there.
I don't see it.
Well, they got to win over the Bar tonight, which Jinder Mahal lost his debut on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, but he's also in a title match. I don't see them doing much with Breezango, but could be wrong. I see them filling that Heath Slater and Rhino role.
How's the Bar look if they got beat by Braun Strowman and a 10-year-old kid and now the Fashion Police? We're supposed to take them super seriously.
Well, I mean, they've been kind of dull, as champions for a while. So I hope, with Hardy and Wyatt, even though I'm not full on with their gimmick yet, I hope they win. I hope they win the belts. I think they've got some steam on them. So, yeah.
Renee Young backstage with Elias, bringing up Bobby Lashley.
I thought that was great. I think Elias goes to SmackDown.
Be good for him.
Yeah. It's crowded now on Raw.
Yeah. And then the 10-man main event, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, The Miz, Curtis Axel, and Bo Dallas versus Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, Bobby Lashley, Braun Strowman, and Bobby Roode, the big surprise. Bobby Roode.
Yeah, he's staying a face. I mean, he looks so douchey coming to the ring with the strut and the robe. It's such a heel look that it's perfectly fit for a heel, but they're keeping him a babyface.
Mizraj walked away from The Miz.
Yeah.
Allowing Braun Strowman to spear The Miz in the corner, scoop him up with a running power slam, cover him, and pin it for the win. This match, I mean, whatever. Like, it was kind of a mess, I thought. Given all the guys in the ring, there weren't. I mean, it wasn't the big, this is our main event, how we're capping off a hot show.
Yeah, but I thought it was fun. I didn't think it was bad. I wasn't bored, and I mean, the action was all good. I don't really have any complaints. I felt like Finn didn't do that much, but I
like the little finisher fest they did last week instead in the main event. I thought that was more fun.
Yeah.
Than tonight. It wasn't bad. It was just kind of.
I mean, it was a throwaway match. It had no ramifications. For a superstar shakeup, Yeah, I mean it was there. I mean, you had Bobby Roode was the surprise.
It was there.
I thought it was good. I take that back. I thought it was good, but it wasn't important.
I have no clue.
Looked good.
Yeah, I mean, I feel coming out of this, this is the biggest reset on Monday Night Raw since the draft. I have no clue what to expect going forward, except that Roman Reigns is the top face of the company.
Yeah.
Everything else TBD.
Well, I think Reigns and Samoa Joe is, that's your program for a bit. I don't know what they're doing with Strowman. He's kind of just hanging out there, even though he's been the most pushed guy in a lot of ways, this year. So they need a big heel for him. And I don't know if Big Cass is that guy or who, but
yeah,
they need somebody.
Also notable in that main event that when Finn Balor came out, Corey Graves, confident and full of what he was saying, just to sincerity, said Bullet Club is for everyone.
Oh yeah, that's right. He did.
I meant to say
Balor Club. Yeah. Wah wah.
Oh,
that was like Nigel McGuinness that one time where he said, "Things are heating up here in ROH," like one of those takeovers. But you know what? They I feel like they've said Bullet Club on TV before, so it's nothing. Yeah. I don't know if he got yelled at for that.
Yeah. Man, so with SmackDown, like who's left on the SmackDown roster?
All right, so here's who we got who went to Raw from SmackDown. Got let's see here. You got Jinder Mahal. Kind of, I'll go from like kind of the top to bottom, or around the top to the bottom. Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Bobby Roode, Jinder Mahal, Baron Corbin, Dolph Ziggler. Let's see here. So that's kind of more your mid to upper card. Then you had with the women, you had Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, Sarah Logan, and then with the rest, you got Tyler Breeze, Fandango, not Dolph. I said that already. Zack Ryder, Mojo Rawley, Mike Kanellis, Chad Gable, Connor, Victor, and then I forgot. Did I say Natalya earlier too?
Maybe.
We mentioned it, but so that's how it looks. And there might be more announced tonight and tomorrow, but 18 names.
Looking at the SmackDown roster page on WWE.com, and it's a little off, but it's showing Aiden English, AJ. So this is who's left: Aiden English, AJ Styles, Becky Lynch, The New Day, the Iconics, Carmella, Charlotte. Now they have Chris Jericho there. Technically, he went out on SmackDown, but
yeah, he doesn't really count.
Daniel Bryan, Epico, Harper and Rowan, the Usos. Lana, they're still showing Maria Kanellis, but again, that's inactive. Naomi, Nikki Bella, they're still showing. Paige's GM, Primo Cologne, Randy Orton, Rusev, still has the Singh brothers. Shelton Benjamin, Shinsuke, Sin Cara, Tamina, Ty Dillinger. Yeah, and Ty Dillinger. So.
And you said New Day?
Yeah, New Day.
And Daniel Bryan. So, top of the card, you got AJ, Daniel Bryan, and Shinsuke Nakamura. You would think
Randy Orton, probably.
And Randy Orton. Yeah. But yeah, they need some guys over. So either Seth or Jeff Hardy, one of those guys is going to go over. Let's see, who else?
You don't think Finn?
I could see Finn. I feel like they didn't do much with him tonight. A lot of times that's a sign. I could see Elias. Tag teams, I could see Heath Slater and Rhino going back. They need a couple teams now that
a couple more teams for the Bludgeon Brothers to kill.
Right? Yeah, exactly. I can see the revival going. Yeah. Who else in the chat? Who are we forgetting? Who do you guys see
the
going
club?
over?
Well, Finn goes. I think the club.
Yeah. I could see Gallows and Anderson for sure. Let's see. Who else seems like kind of obvious? With the women, maybe Asuka.
Yeah.
And then maybe Absolution. I don't know. I mean, you need to balance out the Riot Squad coming over in Natalya. Right?
Merge them together.
Yeah.
At this point, right? I mean, I'd like for them to break all of them up. I think, man, Mandy Rose and Liv Morgan could have a really good thing together. Like
I almost feel like they should stay on Raw just because Paige is the GM now, and I don't know. I just feel like I mean they could easily handle it where Paige brushes them off and says we're no longer together.
Yeah, she could bring them over. Though you're right, that doesn't make sense. Speaking of Liv Morgan, did you hear anything about backstage heat? Anything after she leaked the NXT results on her Instagram story last Wednesday?
No. I think she's all good. It was a mistake. She wasn't taking a photo of that. It was in the background. But
no, dude, she straight up took a photo of that and meant to private message it to someone.
No, it was in the background. It was a photo of herself, but the photo was next to her.
I mean, I saw it pretty close up, but
right, yeah. So the photo going around was just the run sheet, but the actual original photo was her next to it. Yeah,
I have not seen that story anywhere, Raj. If you have that version of the photo, that would be an interesting addendum to this saga.
Someone tweet us if you guys got that photo. Please tweet it to us.
Yeah, because it was all going to be public anyhow. Everyone always reports on what happens at the NXT tapings as they happen.
I think the only thing WWE would have been upset about was knowing the producers that are in it.
Oh yeah.
Who produced each match, and that, they have who interferes in parentheses. So that's the only thing I could think of. But.
Which a spoiler for the next NXT tapings. Plug your ears if you don't want to hear this, folks. But oh my God, Velveteen Dream versus Ricochet. Like that is a feud that looks like they're going to build.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I mean, Velveteen Dream, that'll help him a lot too, progressing.
Curse these rumors of saying, oh, he might get called up sooner rather than later. No, he is perfect where he is.
Yeah, no, I don't think they should rush him at all. Someone saying Apollo Crews, I could see that. Dean Ambrose. Yeah, there hasn't been much on the Dean Ambrose front, but that would be huge. Big Cass. I mean, especially now that he could be put where that Baron Corbin role was.
Back on the same roster as Carmella. Oh, how weird that would be.
Oh yeah. That's life.
Isn't it strange? People talked about this online, but isn't it strange out of the core group, she's the first one to get a title. She's doing just fine.
No, Enzo, are you including Enzo?
Oh yeah. Well, pardon me. But her and Cass then, it's cruiserweight title, Raj. I mean, let's be real. No, okay, but she's the one whose prospects turned out the best of all three. If you look back at their time in NXT, she was the afterthought originally. Yeah. And now I don't think there are a lot of people sitting around just counting down the days, the minutes till Big Cass or till Colin Cassidy makes a return to the main roster.
He's someone they're going to push. Vince loves that size, and he's got that look. I mean, you saw when Enzo was injured and the big push they were starting to give to Big Cass. He was in that WWE Championship 4-way or whatever that Kevin Owens won to.
Oh, that was even before they split them up.
Yeah, when he was injured, when Enzo was out with an injury.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
And then they had him beat Big Show at SummerSlam. He got a featured match at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to push him.
Yeah.
Whether it sustains is another question.
Oh man.
Yeah, Andrade Cien Almas, I could totally see him for sure. That's if I had to pick like surefire things, I think Revival, Andrade, and Seth. I think Seth would be big.
I don't know. It was weird they were calling out the Monday Night Rollins shirt tonight, but that could be the setup.
Yeah, exactly.
For Seth Down Live.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man. So I mean, this is crazy.
Braun to SmackDown, that would be something.
Braun,
he just doesn't fit. He there's no like really.
Who's he gonna fight against?
Yeah, exactly. I like him against AJ. I don't like that dynamic. Well, I guess AJ's a babyface and Strowman is now too. But there's just not that many people he can really work with over there. Whereas on Raw, you got Drew McIntyre down the pipe. You got Kevin Owens. I don't know. Braun's in kind of weird territory because there aren't guys his size. And, as a heel, it's one thing because you're working, a baby face is having to topple the big heel. It's a different dynamic the other way.
I think tomorrow Asuka shows up and maybe challenges Charlotte for a rematch of Backlash.
You could.
or Charlotte maybe forms a tag team with Becky.
But Charlotte's not champ now. Charlotte.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But it's not about the championship, Raj. It's not about that.
I was kind of surprised they didn't move Charlotte. I don't get why they beat her for the title then.
Yeah. But maybe her and Becky team up, take on the Iconics at Backlash.
Yes, but I feel like you had her end the streak and then beat her the next night, you know?
Had her beat down by 2 NXT call-ups and then Carmella. Again, no offense to Carmella, but
right.
Come on.
Right, exactly. Like if you're ending the streak, give her momentum. Really push it as, something special.
Yeah.
You could have just Carmella do an unsuccessful cash-in. I think there's more stock in Charlotte after that big win.
So the rumors and speculation, do you think, as it stands right now, could you see WrestleMania 35, the main event, being Charlotte versus Ronda Rousey?
I could. Yep.
Think it'd be a good match.
I think it would be. Yeah. I think they'd work it out ahead of time. I think they'd spend a lot of time, but you got Triple H that would help with it. And you saw what Ronda did, at WrestleMania 34. So I could totally see that. I mean, what else? I mean, a year is a long ways away, but I don't know. What else seems like a big dream match that would go on last at a WrestleMania?
If they booked it right, if they hadn't screwed it up, or maybe they'll get it back. But I think Roman versus Braun, if they gave that a 6-month build. Yeah,
I could see them. I can see something with Braun for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although, man, I don't know. But on the women's side, I mean, it's not going to be Bayley versus Sasha. I know the longtime fans, that's their women's dream match for the main event of WrestleMania, but
yeah, I don't see
it's clear that creative does not see that.
No, not at all.
Light. And they've certainly not booked them in that light.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. They're afterthoughts. So
yeah.
I think Sasha is more what they see as a star than Bayley. But they both could be there if they just pushed them right.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, Bayley. Man, did they screw that up.
Yeah.
What else do we got? We talked about the breakup, Cena and Nikki Bella. Now, the WWE acknowledged it on social media today, which I thought was kind of...
Yeah, they had an article on their website. People Magazine spoke to a source who said Cena got cold feet as the wedding date was getting closer, and Nikki Bella's heartbroken, and this made it sound like he was the prick. Now, obviously, when you're talking to sources, when you talk to someone on Nikki's side, you're gonna hear one side. You talk to someone on Cena's side, you're gonna hear another. But
did you see his Instagram post yesterday with worst day ever?
Yeah,
just all these different.
Yeah, it's weird to be kind of being comedic about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, cutesy.
Everyone in the chat, we need Matt Morgan to tell us what he knows.
Yeah. Well, he will be on Wednesday. And Justin Barrasso will be joining us on Wednesday too.
Oh, from Sports Illustrated.
Yes.
Nice. He had the scoop today that the Greatest Royal Rumble is going to follow the Royal Rumble format for entrances.
Oh, was there a doubt?
That's why people gave him a hard time about it. I mean, I like Justin Barrasso a lot, but it was kind of funny today just to see the response. It was it's a Royal Rumble. It's not a Battle Royal.
Right. It's not called the Greatest Battle Royal.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
50 entrances. This is going to be slow news day, right? Probably need to compete with the breakup thing. Got the shake coming up.
Yeah. I mean, you'd imagine that these entrances, that is probably going to be a minute, 80 seconds apart. They're not going to do a full 2 minutes.
How long is the walk going to be?
They'll just run down. They'll run down. You know how they do it. Oh, a couple of guys get real special entrances, and the rest they hurry their ass down to the ring. So
I'm looking.
They need to build a stip. They need to build a winner gets something. It's weird to have a Royal Rumble without you get a trophy.
The winner is the new Prince of Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's a main event at SummerSlam or automatic spot in the Money in the Bank, but something,
Yeah.
Something to make it worthwhile.
People blowing up Raj's phone with scoops. Stay tuned to Wrestling Inc. later, folks. There'll be stories.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I don't know. It's weird that they're trying to promote this and Backlash at the same time.
Yeah, it's almost about why are we even doing Backlash? Just, well, I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is, folks. No, I'm really looking forward to SmackDown tomorrow night. Just curious.
I hope they put a couple extra women's matches on Backlash, since they're not going to have any at the Greatest Royal Rumble. You know, do like 4, 2 from each brand.
Yeah, I mean they should.
Yeah,
but we'll see. They're getting more heat about that than I thought they would. I know
Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, when I said something early about it, I think maybe on the heels of the Moolah thing, people are like, "Oh, another outrage." But no, I'm seeing like more and more people are kind of like, "That's kind of messed up."
Yeah, I mean, think about it this way: if it was a country where they, you know, where African Americans didn't have equal rights, would WWE be doing business with them? Right?
If it was like 1990, they would.
No, today I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, I don't know of any country that's like, but you know what I mean. Like,
did they go to South Africa under apartheid?
Oh, geez. So apartheid, when that end? In the early 90s?
Yeah, early 90s.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know.
They went to Kuwait. I remember they did some tours in the Middle East. South Africa, I don't remember them going to, though.
Yeah. Well, if somebody knows, tweet at us. Let us know.
I'm pretty sure they didn't. But
yeah, that was a big deal. I mean, people routinely boycotted. Well, there was that song, Sun City, about musicians not going to play South Africa under apartheid. Granted, it's WWE, not a company really known for their moral high ground.
Well, and the current regime in Saudi Arabia is trying to make it better. It's not, going back. So at least there is that. You know, they're working with someone who, it's bad, but it's getting better. I don't know.
Yeah. Weird. Now, did you see the outrage coming from some single men in Saudi Arabia who are pissed that all of the best seats are designated for families, meaning you have to buy, you basically have to bring a woman and or children with you to get the best seats for the event. I've seen multiple people complaining that the single men's section is like off to the side in the unfavorable part of the arena.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Tough.
People are unhappy on all sides about this.
I guess.
I mean, it's just crazy though. And the Saudi government, it's a 10-year deal. Now, the one thing, again,
a couple of people are asking, we are doing a podcast after that show.
Yeah.
Could you imagine how much they must be paying WWE to load it this much, to be getting Undertaker, to be using one of Lesnar's dates, to be, just how much they're stacking the show and all the travel for all the guys. And
I think we're going to find out. And, I can't remember who asked this on Twitter, but a lot of people jumped into the conversation because of Linda McMahon profiting from the WWE and being a cabinet member. This might be something that's going to be disclosed, that there will be a Freedom of Information Act.
Well, just with the stock reports, if there's an extra 100 million somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, how much must they be getting from this?
I probably guess maybe pulling this out of nowhere. I'm going to say 200 million over 10 years.
I can see that. I could see that actually.
So, folks, if you win the lottery
a year,
and you want to drop 20 million for the WWE to put on a show, bring everybody out of
20 million seems a lot for one show per year.
I don't know.
I'm going to say 5 million. I'm going to say they're getting 5 million.
I don't think they would do this for 5 million.
Yeah.
I mean, that seems really,
because they don't get the gate, right? The Saudi government gets the gate.
I don't know. Yeah, Saudi government's handling the ticket sales, but I don't know. It's got to be a lot. I mean, WrestleMania did a $14 million gate.
Yeah.
Number that was
Maybe
released.
It's 20.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to do this, like to have a second not pay-per-view, but a second event called with the Royal Rumble name in it.
This is probably the second biggest, from just a stacked card perspective. It's probably the second biggest of the year.
Yeah,
I think it's bigger than Royal Rumble.
Yeah, it's got to be an insane amount of money that they're doing this. So the one argument I've seen with this, now again, we're all saying the situation with the women is messed up. I don't think there's anyone that says, oh yeah, that makes perfect sense. There's speculation that because it's a 10-year deal, that they will have more influence as the deal goes on and they can test the waters and do something similar to what they did in United Arab Emirates with the Sasha Alexa match, having them wrestle fully clothed and covered, that over 10 years, they will have the ability to maybe influence the no women thing. But I got to think right now, I mean, you saw in that TMZ interview, Lana, I believe, pointed that out. She, very deftly navigated that question, which is why I don't think it was a setup, Raj, because the TMZ interviewer said, so Lana, you going over for the greatest Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia? And Lana pulled an answer out of nowhere that was actually pretty good, but it was along those lines that over time, hopefully there will be progress, but for now, no, they're not going. None of the women are going.
Yeah, so it probably sounds like she was aware of it because she didn't shoot herself in the foot with the wrong answer.
Yeah. No, I'm sure that it's come up, but yeah, man. So I don't know. I mean, the whole thing is just kind of weird, and everyone's saying, "Oh, they should do a women's only show." When are they going to do a women's only pay-per-view? I think, and it would have to sell out to look good. So they need the right venue, they need the right setting. I think it would have to be. I'm going to say the Friday before SummerSlam would be the ideal time if they were going to add such a thing.
And I think you're taking off women's matches from SummerSlam, which will be a much bigger event.
I agree. There's no perfect way to do it.
Mae Young tournament, so
not quite the same.
Yeah, I don't think you need to do a women's only show.
It's a weird statement to make. I mean, I think there should be a women's only show on the network.
That's kind of the reverse of. It
is, as some might say, separate but equal.
Yeah.
It's
if it was its own show, if there's a whole like a shimmer kind of thing, that's one thing. But when they're already on Raw and SmackDown, where you have them both, I think it'd be kind of weird to just do a women's only.
How is the business end of Shimmer? Why haven't they been acquired? Why hasn't somebody said?
I don't think they want to be,
But there's an audience for women's wrestling. I mean, why aren't the rights holders to Glow doing like a modern day version of that, given that the WWE is now proven
they don't want to lose money.
That's true.
I mean, look at Lucha Underground. I mean, these promotions aren't cheap to get national exposure and get going.
Yeah. Although it would be competition that would probably force the WWE's hand more than anything.
Oh yeah, you saw what they did with the UK, right? Every time it looks like they're going to make a move, WWE then starts revamping their UK division. So
we're getting a 2-day event in the UK in June.
Yeah.
And is that going to be live or?
No, I think they're doing the same thing where they're taping. Actually, I should double check. What did they do last time? That was live, right? The UK tournament?
I think so. Feels like forever ago, but wasn't it only last spring?
No.
Right. Man, greatest Royal Rumble. So that day, noon Eastern. It's probably going to go at least 5 hours.
Yeah, at least 4. But yeah.
And like 3 of those are just going to be the entrances during the Greatest Royal Rumble with 50 participants. And we're going to do a podcast after. Man, it's going to be a long day for me. That's the night I have tickets for Infinity War, but I'm going to rally and make it through on the 27th. Myself, Raj, Mr. Matt Morgan will be here then to talk all about the Greatest Royal Rumble. And it's exciting now, folks. They're putting money back into the network. We might see tiered subscriptions. We talked about this last week, sooner rather than later.
Edge and Christian were filming last week for their show. I guess it's only called the Edge and Christian show now.
The title was kind of silly before.
Yeah. Bruce Richards got a show.
Debuts this Wednesday.
Starts this week. Yeah. I'm looking forward to that.
So what's the format of that going to be? I think WrestleMania 14 is the topic of the first episode.
Yeah. So I'm sure it's like his podcast, except he's like I don't know if it'll be a set or he's in just his regular, because it's not going to be him in his living room, I wouldn't think. But
I don't know, man. It's the WWE Network.
Yeah, I'm sure that. I mean, because he's doing topics where they're kind of evergreen, so they could fly him out, and he does a bunch over 2 days, And, so, yeah.
Did you watch before we wrap here? Did you watch the Raw 25 doc?
I have not yet.
Oh my God! So I pointed this out on Twitter. Best example of how the WWE can make anything look awesome with just a little bit of hindsight. They got some talking heads talking about how important it was. They just showed a couple high points. Great off-camera moment we didn't see with The Miz in the audience. But they make it look like Raw 25 was a rousing success. It really wasn't.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it seemed kind of like a shit show at the time because of the people at the Manhattan Center being upset that they had so little going on at the arena. But when you look back on it, all the surprises that they had, I mean, it's easy to go back and say it was a success, and the ratings were huge. And you could, if you went just by the numbers, in that sense, it was.
They even made the Undertaker promo look good.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. I'll have to check that out.
I mean, but this is what they're masters of. It's my favorite recent example is when they show. Remember before Sami Zayn's return, they were showing the footage of the match where he tore his shoulder. Bret Hart bringing him out against Cena to answer the challenge.
Oh yeah.
And like in reality, wasn't originally didn't Sandow come out or someone came out and did some stupid comedy thing with Bret Hart It was like very like I went back because I was like, oh, I want to go back and watch the actual match now of the whole thing. I was like, oh, this is not as good as they made it look in that promo.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Yeah, but they're just masters of condensing history into these very digestible, awesome moments.
Their production is outstanding. They know how to make these things. I mean, all the WWE 24s are awesome. I mean, they're really good.
Yeah, man. Can't recommend it enough. And if you haven't watched the Andre doc yet, seriously, what's wrong with you at this point?
Check it out. Yeah.
It's really good. Cool, man. So tomorrow we're going to watch SmackDown Live, and then Wednesday, 12 noon Eastern, we'll be back here, myself, Raj, Mr. Matt Morgan, to talk about the rest of the fallout from the Superstar Shakeup. Anything on the site people should look for, Raj?
Just the usual craziness, just tons of stuff, especially with Superstar Shakeup. There's just, tons of news, so keep checking it out.
Cool. I'm Glenn Rubenstein. You can find me on Twitter at Glenn Rubenstein. Greatly appreciate a follow. I tweet along with the Wrestling Inc. account on Mondays and Tuesdays, and of course during pay-per-views. Raj is Raj Giri _303. And
one thing we forgot to mention, Joseph is asking in the chat. Rey Mysterio, yes, he will be in the greatest Royal Rumble, so he's in that match.
Well, there you go. It wouldn't be the greatest Royal Rumble without Rey.
Yeah.
Man, it's gonna be a hell of a show. Cool. Wednesday, 12 noon Eastern. We'll see you back here. Until next time, folks, take care.